it up. We'll be ready.
Sorry.
You have nothing to be sorry about.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
That's called her, right? All right, wait a minute. No adjustments to the agenda. All right, consideration of the minutes. The minutes of the
Can
March.
we have the introductions first?
Oh, sorry, forgot totally. I went blown away. Oh, you know why? It's not there. It's not on the list. I'd like everybody to introduce yourselves. You can start.
I'm Paul Parent. I'm running for school board for next year.
Thank you.
Phoenix Danger, high school student.
Heather Bishop, RSU 56 employee.
Dawn Crosby, a parent of a senior.
Dan Crosby, Chairman of the Planning Board in Canton, parent of a senior.
Thank you and welcome. So, oh, see, welcome doesn't even say that. But it should have been there. Alice has been there.
Sorry.
My administrative assistant is having a
All
hard
right,
day.
you better get on that person. The minutes of the March 24th, 2026 school board meeting. Could I get a motion, please?
So moved.
And a second?
Second.
Comments, questions, revisions? Seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed? Non-voting? Get that, Cindy? Yep. Okay. All right. Public comment. This is the time the public can make a comment. You come up to the podium, state your name, and we are. Anyone have a comment? Just
Yep.
come on.
Does the microphone work here?
They can hear you, right? Yes.
I am Dan Crosby, Chairman of the Planning Board for Canton and a parent of a senior here at Jericho High. We've been asking about our son getting notarized for his accomplishments in sports. Been to all his coaches, been to the athletic director, and nothing seems to be getting done. We keep getting a runaround. Now, Trevor has broken records in this school, and we're asking to have his football jersey retired. There are 2 football jerseys in the gymnasium that have been retired. One of them, he's a multi-sport athlete, as Trevor is. He does extraordinary work in athletics. Tyler Frost. And yeah, he deserves all the accolades that he had, but he never broke any school records. Trevor has. And he deserves to be recognized for that. And it's not only in one sport that he's done this. He's fantastic in whatever he does. He's also a 3-sport athlete. He's graduating this year and going to Husson. Like I said, we've gone through all his accolades and everything, and he's been to 2 state championships with basketball. He's in his sophomore year of baseball, he matched all of the senior statistics, all of them. Okay. He's been MVP for baseball. He's been on defensive all-conference for basketball. His coach has said arguably he's the best defensive player in basketball for this conference. Okay. I just don't understand why we've been getting a big runaround about this. No answers. I've done everything I can't do any more. I've got 2 letters of recommendation here. Would you like me to put them in the record so that they can be considered?
You can, yeah, you can give them to Cynthia.
Okay, can I get copies of them?
Yeah, or can you email them to me?
Yeah, that might be.
Yeah, that would, if you have them digitally.
You can
Oh,
copy
if she's
them.
going to copies, that
Oh, you have copies?
Yeah.
Okay,
I can compare.
I'll put those right
Okay.
here. I also tried to find out what was the criteria before getting the jerseys retired? I have no answers. None. Oh, I don't know. I'll have to look into that. Conspicuously, she's not here. Okay, so I'd just like answers. If he's not considered for it, I would really like to know why, because I can't find any answers. He's done above and beyond every single year in every sport he's been in, and because he won't ask for it himself. Very, very humble. He would never ask for it. If he knew I was up here speaking right now, he'd hate it, but he deserves it. So I'd just like to have it considered, and if you want to look through all his stats and stuff, we can get those emailed to you, and we'll see what we can do. And another thing, I heard from the football coach that they were considering putting up a bulletin board in the weight room. I mean, that's great for the students, but the general public needs to know. They need to know the stature of athletes that come out of this school. General public doesn't go in the weight room. They won't know. Kids will know. They have something to achieve too. That's great. I understand that. But the general public should really know what type of athlete comes from this school. I mean, the track and field is all up there on the wall. And I don't see why the record breakers for the other sports are not noted on the walls. It doesn't make any sense to me. I mean, obviously track and field is important. Every single sport there has a record that can be broken. They deserve to be there, but so do the other athletes. Everybody preaches inclusion. Well, it's kind of discrimination of the other sports because they're not there. And that's my view on it. I'm sure a lot of parents feel the same way. I mean, kids work hard, extremely hard, and they keep their grades up. They have to achieve this in sports. If you don't keep your grades up, you can't play sports. You won't get those records. So anyways, I would like to have this considered, and I can come back in future meetings and find out what's been going on with it, if that's okay.
Yeah, and I think, not you, but someone will contact you. This is comment, not for us to respond.
Yeah, exactly.
We have the board member
Exactly.
comments,
Yeah.
because I do have a couple answers for some of that, and some more detailed information.
I'll chime in as well during board member
Yeah.
comments. I've done a
Yes.
little bit
Yes,
of work on
so if that comes,
The only reason I'm here doing this is because I can't get anywhere else.
my only comment is, there is nothing written. Because I'm the old person here.
Mhm.
Well, Liz is old.
Yeah,
Too
that-
older here, but you're from here, you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
Yes, but I can, when the comments, we'll get some.
Yes,
yeah,
and
there is-
that is a problem, and
Yes.
and probably that should change.
Yes,
Have a school historian or something.
I do want to add the two records that we're talking about for my son. One is unbeatable. It's a 99-yard pick six. Nobody can ever beat that.
Yeah, it doesn't sound like much, but it's almost a physical impossibility. All it takes is one step backwards and he gets 2 points for it. Or you can run the entire length of the field and get a touchdown, which is what he chose to do.
so we will get some answers for you. Thank you.
Yep.
Communications,
No new communications.
old business, Bruce, do you have anything?
We met the first Wednesday of the month. We went through all the different committees. Everything was working well. Brenda Gammon provided the board with a handout giving information background of our 2026 Student of the Year, which is Michaela Mowery. Thank you. And additional information on the Alaska trip. The National Technical Honor Society signs have been distributed. There's 38 new inductees. The National Technical Honor Society breakfast will take place on April 15th at 8 a.m. Dr. Gammon's recertification plan has been approved and working updating policies and emergency plans, as well as the school review will take place this next November. Skills USA, which went up to Bangor, did very well. Chris Barlow was one of the directors that was up there. will present on the trip in May at the next May board meeting. The students did come home with a bronze medal in video production. It was funny because it's not a program that Region 9 has, but the students asked permission to try anyway. Believe it or not, they had 5 hours to make a 30-second commercial on skills events. Imagine that. They performed and came home with a bronze medal. Our new business was that we must have seen that we had some savings in Region 9 from the healthcare budget, and it allowed us to adjust our budget so that our newest budget that's going up to the public is that for the Region 9's budget for the regular programs is $2,899,086. And then we also had a reduction in the adult education budget, brought it down to $411,221. So both of those have been reduced, saved from some of the savings that we have incurred. One other thing that was brought to our new business is that our early childhood program has been discussed of where we were going to keep it, which has been in the Region 9's building forever. And we have now decided that we definitely want to keep it in our building. We were offered a spot in the new school up at the Mexico Community School, but the directors all felt that this program should be held at Region 9, and everyone approved it except for Mr. DePhilip. He was opposed to that motion. The National Tactical, I think I already said about the breakfast. The senior celebration is on 28th of May, and that was pretty well what we had.
Thank you. Any questions for Bruce? So to get the new buildings ready, like the greenhouse, what does this entail? Be ready for next year, or the?
I would say that wasn't part of our meeting, but I would say it was probably going to be next year when we really fully utilize it. I have been in the process of equipping both of the buildings. I had given authorization, and the board of directors gave authorization to move forward to get the buildings all equipped and get them ready before we even got a certificate of occupancy, because we knew eventually we were going to get a certificate of occupancy. So the welding lab has probably 75–80% of its system was pretty well there.
Yeah.
Now that we've got occupancy permits, we now have electricians going in, getting everything finished up on it. We're hoping during the school vacation, we have to have cranes come in and move, or some type of a crane type thing, or hoist to move some of the big equipment out of the school itself to bring over to the new welding lab. We've gotten all the lockers and tables and everything else, so even the room itself, the classroom setting is all set up and ready to go. So will we really be utilizing it well for the rest of this year? Probably not. Our goal is, unfortunately, it just was a late waiting to get everything up and going, but I'm in high hopes that in the fall of next year, we will be full guns in there.
Thank you. All right. New business. Heather, you're up. Project graduation update.
Hi, guys. Heather. So unfortunately, we lost the house. We didn't move fast enough for the people who were gonna rent it to us. So we had to come up with a new plan, and so we sent out a couple of options for all the kids, and they voted, I wanna say it was like 2 weeks ago now. Everything was kind of finalized, and they voted to, what we would like to do is we would like to stay here after graduation, and then go to Canopy Lake Park in the morning. The kids would get at least a $50 gift certificate for food for the day there, whatever they want to spend it on. If they want to bring their own food and spend it on whatever else, that's fine. I had talked to Heidi Broomhall, and she said in the previous year that there was an opportunity for the kids to potentially leave for a couple hours, go home, shower, maybe take a nap, and come back because this is like the whole next day. Canopy Lake Park doesn't offer anything at night. Cranmore doesn't offer a nighttime thing anymore. Funtown, none of them places offer a nighttime thing, so it was really hard for me to have enough time to keep doing more research to be able to come back. So this is what I came up with, and this is what the kids were down for. We have a comedian coming, so what we would like to do is we would like to, after graduation, help the custodians pick up the chairs and all that stuff so that we'd be able to utilize the gym. We'd like to have food all night. We have comedians that I have spoken to who have the availability to come in. I'm waiting to hear back from the hypnotist. He couldn't do Jason Christopher, who has been here in the past, was unable to attend at the time of night that we were looking for that night because he's already booked in Connecticut, but he's supposed to be getting back to me within the next 24 hours with some other people that he has. So we're looking at hypnotists, comedians. I'm also waiting for Play 207 was supposed to get back to us to do laser tag in the high school. The kids talked about doing field games. Sorry, there's so many papers here. Field games, wiffle ball, movies, board games and card games, manhunt in the school with adults using walkies and staying like in areas where we know that groups of kids are. We would like transportation provided by the school to go to Canopy Lake Park. It is about a 3-hour drive there and back. Our bus drivers would roughly be here about 6 o'clock. So the rundown of the day, night would be like, I'd like to see them be able to leave from like 1 o'clock in the morning till about 5:30, 6 o'clock in the morning. When they come back, what Heidi suggested that's been done in the past is when they get back, there will be Oxford County Sheriffs here to do an inebriation test to make sure that no students have gone and gotten messed up. And if they have, they don't come. They would have to be here no later than 6 o'clock if they were coming in the morning. But I did make some adjustments to that time because I did say 5 a.m. sharp, and then that would give us enough time to have breakfast here, just a small breakfast here, and then head out in the morning. $50 gift cards back. So the park opens at 10. And ideally, I'd like to be there at like 9:45, ready to head in, and then head back around 3, so the kids would have about 5 hours at the park all day. So it was like 10 a.m. to 3 p.m., and that would put us at an arrival at about 6 p.m., which when Pam and I talked previously about the weekend trip, she thought that the second day would definitely need to require another set of chaperones, and so we talked and we kind of eliminated that second day. So I kind of just went with the same time that we talked about kind of being back from that trip, which was like between 4 and 5, and which is I've got about 6-ish being our arrival time, and at that time, that's about 3-ish hours of daylight left for them to go home and have their celebrations if they want with their families or whatever. Yeah, that's kind of the gist of what I have right now. Do we have questions, guys?
Chaperones,
Sorry.
how many
Yeah,
are
oh yeah,
here?
my chaperones are all still good. I actually have maybe accumulated a couple more because I have asked would anybody be willing to stay here after graduation, and then if this passed, we would have some that would be able to come in early and come with us that day.
Questions? Bruce?
You have all the funds for this. I know you had funds for the
Yes,
post, but
so it's only for every single student in my whole class to go, including chaperones. It's only $3,000 for us to get in,
Okay.
and it's another $3,000 for me to give them each $50.
Okay.
And that's $6,000, and we are sitting right now without 2 of our biggest fundraisers to happen yet at almost $14,000.
Okay, so are you during your fun night that you're doing, are you giving out Are you spending this money? How are you doing with the rest of
So,
this money?
so what we would like to do is, if I can give them a little bit more money to spend at Canopy Lake Park, I would like to.
Okay.
If we can't, we have to pay, like the hypnotist, 207, I'm still waiting for all of those quotes to come back, like direct quotes with like the number of students that I've handed. And we have chatted a little bit about possibly anything that might be left over going to a scholarship or a possible sports bench outside in the field, depending on what we're looking at for funds, but I won't know the exact amount until, that we have until after the carnival, which is the Saturday before Memorial Day.
And then out of the students that going, is it the whole class going, and there's some
The
that,
whole class has been invited.
how
The
many
whole
people are we
class.
talking?
So I have 55 students. We just lost a student in the last couple weeks from our class. So 55, and then with an addition to chaperones, I put it around about 70 people.
So what, have 2 buses?
Yeah, that's what I have requests. Yes, that's what I would like to see. 2 buses is usually what goes anyways.
Question, maybe this is for Pam. 12 hours, are we okay with one bus driver, like per bus? How many, like what are our restrictions on
So
hours
we can do
and
that
stuff?
because they're not going overnight. If the bus
Okay.
driver was going overnight, then we have to pay for a room for them to sleep. But because they're going during the day,
We're good.
we'd be in,
Okay.
we would be within our liability.
I just have a question about the hypnotist.
Yeah.
Sorry. kids.
No, it's
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, what is it? Like, is it legit? Like, I mean, have you guys had this before?
He's
Is it
been
like-
here before, yeah.
Yeah.
Heidi Broomhall has hired him here before. There has been another hypnotist here that was not very high school appropriate, and she
Okay.
gave me his name and then told me
Yeah, 'cause when I
not to
just-
go with them,
The
but
Google it
this,
said R-rated.
this,
and-
yeah, no, this gentleman does a lot all over the country actually for high school project grads and proms.
Okay.
I've seen video, of, I think it's probably the same one of my kids, and they were impressed.
I sat through the
Yeah,
workshop
yeah,
here
yeah.
and it was appropriate for high school.
Okay.
And then he refuses to mention that, you know, he claims he never was hypnotized.
Well, I personally, obviously, I didn't like the other idea very much because we were trying not to do house parties and this was kind of like, you know, and I do like this one a lot.
Funny, they just had it on Today Show, so house parties are not in anymore.
No,
Yeah, okay.
I go, really?
And I do like the idea that you have someone coming in the morning to make sure that they're, you know, if they're.
and one of our comedians, we're working on potentially getting a second. One of our comedians is actually a Derigo High School graduate. Zach
And
Berry.
we have the budget.
That's good.
It's all theirs. All we will pay for is the buses and the drivers going to the.
Doesn't, if they don't spend that money, it gets reabsorbed into the.
No, there's policies and protocols.
Right.
Yeah,
It must
Yeah,
have
they're
been changed.
The kids raise that money.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know, but they
If it's
had
not spent by
leftover,
a certain amount of
they
time.
had leftover before,
Then it
and
goes in.
I inquired if they, at one of these meetings recently, since my second term, that
Better order
that
lobster.
could they pass it on to the next class or something? The answer was no. I don't know where to go.
So the policy is if it's not spent in a certain amount of time, then it gets absorbed into the scholarship fund.
Yeah.
Okay.
But
Which
they
is kind
have,
of what we have,
No,
like,
that would be
the
fine.
student-
I didn't
They
know
have,
where-
leaders have talked
we've
about.
didn't
had
I didn't want to finish
benches,
the
we've
bathroom.
Yeah.
had different things.
I think that they're leaning more towards like a sports bench or something like
The
that
only
because
thing
they
is
like
they can't
themselves
put it
so
in the
much.
fund
don't they?
for every.
Yeah, no,
That sounds about
I figured if they raise it,
That sounds about right.
put it in an air conditioner or something.
Maybe on the bus.
Bruce, you had your hand
My
up.
take on that was spend it.
Oh, yeah, we're gonna try. We're really gonna try.
My other question was that with the 2 bus drivers, are you paying to have them get in? Are you gonna treat them to a little
Yes,
something?
they're included,
sponsored?
they're included into the,
Okay,
yeah,
beautiful,
into my
good.
budget as well, yeah.
They're
Pay for
pretty
lunch.
dedicated.
Yeah.
Nice.
They only get what, $13.50?
$15,
Yeah.
So
For
they'll
lunch.
equally
Trust me, I
get
know. I
gotta-
was on a trip today.
They have to get
access to the park as well.
Maybe they can have the pleasure of, budding Jed for the day.
Oh, one of them. Any other questions? could I get a motion, please?
So move.
Do you want us to define the motion, or do you understand?
Can I,
Yes,
can I
thank
have
you.
some definition?
Yes.
I would like to know how everybody feels about the leaving from like 1 to 5:30 in the morning, if that's a thing.
I think the admin will take care of it, because I know when they come back, they do,
They won't be coming back with any additional items. They will come back and they will be searched and,
So the last time that we did an evening thing here, and then kids went home and they came back in the morning,
Yeah.
went perfectly fine.
That's
We
what I
only
was
kept them until 11, but one's
Okay.
even better. We kept them till 11, and then they had to be back here for, I think it was 5 in the morning to take off for their thing. So
yeah,
it's worked out before, and I don't have any like huge qualms with that.
okay.
So if you want to redefine my motion, I would make a motion that we allow them to have the evening at Dirigo High School, leaving at 1 a.m., returning back to school at 5 a.m., being checked well between 5 to 6, boarding a bus and heading to Kennedy Lake Park for the day, returning at 6-ish
Yeah,
that evening.
yeah, I would like to leave Canopy Lake Park at 3.
And I'll second it.
Yeah.
including the buses. Okay, all those in favor? Oh, I forgot to ask, any other?
Tina, that was you on the second?
Yeah, it was Tina.
I thought so, would you say?
Thank you, you're all set.
Thank you.
Have fun.
All right, here comes the dog and pony show. You gotta have humor, it's so depressing. It's pretty dry stuff, so.
Thanks for telling me I'm dry stuff. Appreciate it. I have butter and yes, no, it's up here.
Thank you, everybody, for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good night.
You too.
Budget.
It's so hard.
All right, so this is just I'm gonna update you from last time.
Okay.
So on the 24th, this school board said that they felt pretty comfortable going with a 6% increase to maintain our current programming in RSU 56. So it'd be a total budget of just over 16 million, up about 917,000. There was lots of reasons why it was up, including the salaries and benefits, oil prices, which we still have not locked in, cost of supplies, the increase of Region 9, and to maintain that school resource officer and the extended learning opportunity positions. We had these priorities from the admin that you were still considering. We had Dina students at the high school and the middle school, 6,500 each for a total of 13,000. I had asked last time if that could go into the budget if things came in lower potentially, as well as our technology director was asking for a network manager and IT specialist, which with salaries and benefits would be about 98,000. So these are the changes since we last met. The RSU 56 portion of the Region 9 was reduced by $11,045 because their insurance came in at 7.5%, so they were able to reduce their overall budget. So that's our portion of the reduction. Our insurance came in at 10.25% increase, so we were able to reduce $93,399. Both of those things are expenditures. So there's two sides of a budget process. So the things that you expend, the things that you're going to pay for, and then there's revenue change that's coming in. So there's two sides to this equation, and I will tell you they do not just go like this. Like they don't play equal on both sides. Our ED 279 was also adjusted. It was reduced by $102,948.24 because originally we thought we might add a pre-K. We've decided not to try to add the pre-K for a variety of reasons. So without those additional pre-K numbers, they backed us back down by that $102,000. I will tell you, when our insurance came in at 10.25%, I was pretty sad puppy. I am usually really good with numbers, and I thought for sure we would be in the 5 to 7% range because the last thing we had heard from our insurance that we were about 94% usage. And 100% usage is what you pay in, they're paying out, and you're pretty much breaking even. So usually if you're under 100%, you have pretty decent increases instead of the really high increases. Between when we got that September 94% and the end of the year, end of December, that changed from 94% usage to 107% usage. So that is why we were at that point. And I was annoyed enough that I responded to them, set up a meeting. Mary and I spent an hour on Zoom with them because it didn't make sense to me. And then finally at the end of the Zoom, they're like, well, you have 107% usage. I'm like, where do we have that? Like, I got 94%.
Where
And
was
they'll-
Jason during this?
What's that?
Where was Jason during this negotiation?
Well, and I said, finally I said, okay, we just wasted an hour. Because if I had seen 107%, I wouldn't have this call.
Yeah.
Like, give us this information in December over our last 3 months as opposed to giving it to me in September. But anyway, that's what we have for changes. And again, I just want to be clear moving into it. There's expenditures, there's revenues, because the next stuff gets a little wonky.
Okay, gotta turn around here.
So, taking out those two expenditures, the Region 9 insurance and reducing our insurance, now has an updated budget increase of 5.36% budget to budget. Okay, so without the administrative priority add-on of the IT network person for $98,000, it's 5.36.
Is that including the stipends?
Talk to you about why it does include the stipends for a different reason.
Okay.
Because the administrative team feels strongly enough about those two stipends. In just a minute, I'm going to tell you why they're in there and how I got them in there. Okay, so we have a total budget of just under 16 million, and we'd have the increase of 813,185, which all sounds good in theory.
But, show us the back.
It includes the dean?
I'm telling you, this next one, I'm going to tell you how it does. So we really feel strongly with the behaviors that are happening at the middle school and the high school that we need the dean of students positions in both places. So we work with Gina. We feel comfortable reducing the nutrition allocation by 13,000 and using that to pay for the dean of students at both places. So we're not adding any new money into the budget. We're just going to take that back out of Gina's, that 13,000, and split it.
She's gonna have enough for her food.
So basically it's for when they do not break even and when they have to do upgrades in our kitchens, because there's no, like, we don't make money off from our nutrition program, but we try to break as even as possible. When we don't break even, we cover it with this money, and if we have a broken
But we're
stove.
getting state funding for meals, correct?
We had get state funding for meals.
Okay.
But we,
Sorry, just making sure.
but you have to pay the people, you know.
Right.
And Gina's a little, she didn't want to go any more than that because
No,
we
she
don't
doesn't say
know
that.
what's
Yeah,
gonna
makes
happen
sense.
with prices and all of that moving
Right,
forward.
right.
But she felt comfortable with
They
this.
used to even budget anything.
So we're just taking from one piggy bank and putting it in another. Like,
Okay.
so we're not adding to it, we're just
Moving things around.
arranging it. We're
Mary?
I just want to clarify one thing, just so there isn't confusion. So the nutrition program is supposed to run on its own, but it can't. So there's money in the budget that can help the nutrition program if it doesn't break even in any particular year. So that's where this 13,000 is coming from. It's not coming from money from the state that's paying for nutrition. That all has to go to the nutrition
Right,
program.
that's what I thought, okay.
It's separate.
We
I'm
put
picking up
money
the
in
right,
our
yeah.
budget every year to help pay for nutrition overages.
Okay.
So that's what that's coming from.
You may feel, you're, so far you're making me feel
Should I just
better.
do one year?
Because I wanted to.
Okay, so this is the crazy part.
All right.
Okay, so I'm gonna do my best, and I practiced with my husband last night because I'm like, can you understand what I'm trying to say? So, we were at 6%, now we're at 5.36%, okay? So the changes, at 6%, I have put a strike through them, so that you can still see them, but those are the new numbers next to it. So, you would think these numbers would improve, right? But they don't, because the revenues and the expenditures are two different things. So the revenues coming in were reduced by 102,000. So Mary's gonna go through the whole formula with you in just a minute so you can understand it. But these are the new numbers at 5.36. So Canton would still have a decrease of almost 9,000, they would be looking at a decrease of 0.72%. Carthage would have an increase of 15,669, which is 1.763%. Dixfield would have an increase of 143,000 plus, which would be an increase of 6.010. And Peru would have an increase of 168,450, which is 9.10. So they're not like astronomically different, but they're definitely different. Okay? So Mary, you want to take them through that paper now, or you want me to go
Well,
finish
wait,
it
I
up?
have one question. They're trying to push the new essential program thing. They're saying that would put more money in it. Would we get more money, or to wait for the
So,
wishes dream?
so we have seen a draft cut of what would happen in 56 with this new EPS formula, and we would have more money.
Okay, but
And
we
I would-
can't rely on it. Because they're pushing it.
Well,
I've been watching
So
the
the
news.
bill is passed, but it's.
It won't
amended, but
it won't
it's
affect
amended
this
from
year
its-
anyway.
Oh, I thought they
No,
were
it's
pushing
not
it
this year. It's moving forward.
Oh,
So next year, I anticipate we will have a fairly significant amount more than we had this year. At least that's what the draft run-through looks like. Mary, I sent it to Mary, and Mary wrote back, "Do you see this as an increase of this?" And I said, "Yes, that's what I saw, but I wanted my business manager to see it
So
too."
it wouldn't impact this year?
It does not impact this year at all.
Okay.
So this is like, I think, is the complicated part, because you saw that we had reductions in our budget to get us down to 5.36, but we also had reductions on the revenue coming in. So you would think that it would look better, or at least be fairly even, but it actually cost the town slightly more.
And the reason it says TBD on the impact, that was the old impact. And so, once the board votes on the budget, I'll reach out to the towns again and say, this is the actual increase, what does that mean on a $100,000
I
house?
don't know why I thought it was 80 the last time we saw it.
$80 for the house?
Yeah, maybe that was, yeah.
Pam's gonna.
It was on a different one, I think.
Okay.
So, I'm gonna finish, and then Mary can go through how this is calculated. So the only option that we came up with at admin at this point to get the IT network position would be to add 98,000 to the budget, which is 0.646%, or we'd be then at an increase of 6.006%. This is where you probably, no, I don't know where you saw the 80. So this is, I shared this is the previous calculations, not on our current calculation. We'll have to have each town recalculate when we're done, but this is what I had shared before, between 5, 6, and 7%. So hopefully, April 28th, you'll be ready to approve a budget. May 12th, you'll sign the warrants. The 13th and 14th, they're delivered. 26th, we'll have our big budget meeting here in the SCC, and then June 9th, hopefully you'll tell all your friends to go vote, or go vote on the budget. And we're gonna need you to tell us what to do tonight, so that we can bring your budget
Does
forward
Mary
next time.
want to do a
Mary is
spiel,
gonna do
or do
something.
you want us to?
Nope, I'm gonna have Mary, unless you don't feel like you need it, but Mary was just gonna show you how it runs through the formula and why it looks like it should be down a little bit for the towns, but it's actually.
Well, it wouldn't hurt to know, because when we have to explain where, if we go down to 5 point whatever, why it's an increase in the percentage.
Yeah. So we'll put Mary on that.
Do you want me to come up there?
It's probably easier.
Yeah.
I would say,
Take one and pass it along, keep that top up.
Okay.
Because there's something
Go
on the
ahead,
backside,
Natalie.
keep the top.
I guess I would say that there's probably only 10 people between our communities that aren't on the board that paid attention last time. So it's probably, in terms of going in the weeds, this is important for us to understand, so that we can articulate to the select board members that were here last time. I think that's important. I would say if you're talking to someone who hasn't, like, we shouldn't get in the weeds talking about revenue expense. It's more so, for someone who's asking now, like, tell me about the budget, I think it's the 5% and whatever the new numbers are. I don't know that we need to get down in the weeds in terms of, it was this, and now, you know what I mean? Like, I do think it's important for us to understand those so that we can communicate to the select board members that are here.
And Mary and I are willing to go to each of the 4 towns and go through it if they would like.
Because I know Bruce still had a question for Dixfield, and I forgot, was it?
Well, we have not, I expected the chairman of Dixfield to get back to the school district about what the town is doing, and we haven't heard from him
I
yet.
had a meeting the other night, didn't they?
But the town is what?
How, well, why
We're trying to
the,
find out why, with Dixfield being a less percentage than what they showed in Peru when you looked at the calculations, why was Dixfield seeing such a significant increase versus the other town? And
Whether it was
Mr.
revaluation or
Pickett said he was
what.
going to
Evaluation.
investigate it, get back to
We
us.
haven't-
27.
I was
Okay,
gonna
and then
say,
I-
we haven't
I
done
think-
that.
I think Dick was gonna talk to the town manager and just like look at the numbers and try to parse out like why the number looked as big as it did.
Yeah, no reval is in 27.
Yeah,
Okay.
And the towns, when I sent the information to them to ask them to do the 5%, 6%, 7% scenarios, they were supposed to calculate it based on just that school increase, not anything else to do with the town.
okay.
But keep in mind that the towns are doing their own, so there could be differences in calculations.
Yeah.
All right, so the sheet that just went around, make sure that you have in blue current proposed budget on the side that you're looking at right now, please. This is without the add-on of the IT position. And as you see in red, this is based on the new ED 279 that we received in March after the state revised it because of the pre-K change. The total budget, as Pam said, the 15,981,935, 5.3% increase. That figure, obviously, that's the expenditure side, has to match with the revenue side. So if you look at the middle section of this page on the left, that's where it breaks down as to the allocation state share. So we get that ED 279 and the state says, we're going to send you $9,010,000. So that gets plugged in. The local allocation, that 3638 matches the local allocation up above. That also comes right off the ED 279 because the state says, in order for you to receive that subsidy we're going to send you, Canton has to raise $698,286, Carthage has to raise $519, etc. The debt service, the 7529, that is the portion of Darragh Elementary School that is not state funded. There's like 1.45% that isn't state funded, and so that has to get broken out here as local debt. Once the elementary school is paid off in the 27-28 budget year, that column will go away unless we build another new school between now and then.
Sorry, I started to laugh.
It will go away.
Not with the list going up.
Pre-K.
And then the current additional local is calculated by that section in the middle where it says state mandated formula. The total budget of 15,981, and then we subtract out the state share, the local share, the debt service, the balance forward of 277.5, which we know we always keep in there, the gate receipts of 5,000, miscellaneous revenue of 13.9, brings us to what the additional local share is on this particular scenario, 3,028,591. And if you look over to the right in the box, the calculation of current additional local percentages, when RSU 56 was formed, the agreement was that the towns would pay based on 50% valuation, 50% students. So you see that Canton has 17.162% of the costs. And that percentage is used to break out the local debt column and the current additional local column. So then at the top, you end up with the total to be raised, the local allocation, local debt, and current additional local added together is how it's determined what each town has to raise. Then at the very bottom, that's just the comparison of what the variance was 25, 26, total to be raised 26, 27, and then this year's variance, which, as we know, that percentage increase over on the bottom right is what everybody is interested in, is how much it affects their taxes. Any questions about this sheet that we went through in 5 seconds? You got it, Dan?
Did the total students go down? So I thought it was 7 something last time.
No, because the valuation figures and the student figure comes right off the 8279, so that did not change from the scenarios that you saw 2 weeks ago. It doesn't match, like, I think we do have 700 and something, but this
Oh,
is
okay.
based on previous, so it doesn't exactly match with how many students we have now. Any other questions? Do you want me to have them flip it over?
You might as well.
Okay, so now if you flip to the other side, this is what it would look like if the add-on of the technology position was included in. Because as Pam said in her slideshow, the admin team decided the only way that it could be included was to add it to the budget. So that's why you see the 6.006% increase over 25-26, including the 98,000. And so then you see down below what the percentage increases for each town looks like with that. I'm sorry, you can't see it, Brad.
I'll look at it, don't worry.
It was just like,
Can you put the other side up on there? Put the,
5.36.
He didn't put any of these
He didn't
up.
put any of them up.
up either.
I want to compare.
We didn't send it.
I'll take one.
We can give you a second one.
Yeah, I'll take it. It'd be a lot easier to,
Oh, you just want to see them side by
for my
side?
feeble brain.
Listen, I literally, Mary's like, you want me to put them on 2 sheets? And I'm like, no, that's 24 pieces of paper instead of 12.
Yeah, you're keeping costs down.
I'm trying.
No, because this is somewhat fascinating. You get less, you spend less, but you get, cost more.
You did find out the difference now from what 100,000 from the towns.
What's that?
We showed them.
We already showed that. They showed that.
With the new one?
To
With
be
the add-ons
determined.
and the add-ons and everything, right?
They have,
The one that says with add-on has the IT specialist.
Okay.
Yeah.
can the IT specialist be recalculated to bring it back down to 6%?
Can it be what?
Recalculated a tiny bit?
I don't understand.
Well, it's 6.006.
I don't
so
see
it's
that how
basically
adding that on is a good thing for our budget, though. I know that they have additional outsourcing, but it's still way less than $100,000. I mean, it's.
Say that again, I'm sorry. The first part.
So his reason for bringing someone in is because it would be easier, because they have to outsource stuff.
Yeah.
He brought an email back of how much they were spending to outsource, and it was about 20,000 or less.
Under 30.
It was under 30, so
Oh, I
the
didn't
cost
see this
comparison
email.
is not worth
Oh,
$100,000.
I didn't see this email.
Yeah.
my
So,
only thing
How come
is,
I didn't get this?
It's just a lot of
It's
dollars.
in
Dixfield would be 10% increase, and that would be a shot down.
Yeah, no, I agree.
That I wouldn't even,
Oh, so you're saying it's not worth even hitting it?
I mean, from the,
Yeah, I would like to take care of the study hall issue before I take care of that. Okay.
It's Peru that would be 10%, Barbara. Dixon would be 7.6.
Yeah, I
with
wouldn't,
the
I
add-on.
wouldn't
On
be
the
comfortable
add-on?
bringing that back to Peru either.
if Peru, we're 7, but now, that's more,
Here's some here.
but, oh, wait a minute, we're 6, it's Peru that's 9. Thank God. I was reading it
And that's on the side without the add-on.
without, yeah.
Peru's saying. Thank God.
I know,
Yeah.
but even I don't believe in a double digit.
I have a
No,
question about
it's
the
not financially.
tech position.
Yeah.
What's Brian saying about it?
So as Brian relayed when he was in front of you, when going through his budget, he gave you a pretty detailed budget new proposal. I'm happy to share with you all again if you'd like to. But I will say that
I see that.
Brian is feeling very stretched and maxed in terms of like maintaining the network and all of those things that go with it. We have one-to-one devices across the district, so we have a lot more devices that he's looking at. They have key card access, electronic door locks that he takes care of, internal phone coverage systems, security systems, bell and intercom systems, the network infrastructure and wireless access. numerous instructional and administrative software platforms.
He has a lot of compliance he has to do.
Yeah.
There's a lot of
He does
compliance.
the data.
And besides the fact that like most places, the Brian of the world would not be doing all of our data. So he does all of our data for the Maine Department of Education. He takes care of uploading all of that and dealing with everything in the Power School. Like, so he, you know, he and I have talked, like I did ask him, like, do we think that we can take some of those things and put them on our two current people, because we have one person that covers the elementary school and one that covers the middle school, high school. And he said some of it maybe, like a little bit of it, but certainly not all of it. So then we had asked him to see what could he keep from outsourcing that we could take off the top of this. And he was very clear with the board that night, and then clear again with me when we met the week before last, that like in year one, that's probably not going to get a lot of savings, because whoever you hire needs to learn how to do all of that. You know, so it's not like a 30,000 is going to come right off the top from the first place. But I just know that like if anything goes awry, like when we had the Power School breach, like we almost come to a screeching halt, because like all of his energy has to go into that, and then there's all this other stuff that still needs to happen. So it's really a capacity issue more than anything else.
What about consequences for not maintaining compliance or security? I mean, I'm not necessarily advocating for spending $100,000, but there's consequences for someone being stretched too thin, and the things that were required by law to maintain, and that we have an obligation around security to maintain. I mean, are those things going to suffer?
So I don't really know how to answer that. Like if you have a breach, you can have a breach regardless of.
No,
how many
but it's
people
making
you have.
your system in a way that, like, the little things aren't getting missed that cause the big things.
So there are times that help desk tickets sit there for a little longer than we would like, and it's certainly like harder to keep up with some of the things we'd like to keep up with.
But in my opinion, it's just my opinion, I don't have that email to compare to, I just searched. So I don't really know what they're talking about when they got that. But in my opinion, from what I'm hearing what you say, like we still have this divide of this other issue. Like I hear that he needs to like, so couldn't that be like a half there and a half over there? I mean, so you see what I'm saying?
I did ask Mr. Keene if we could think about, like, if we had somebody came in that was half-time IT network and half-time a technology teacher at the high school, and try to, like, disperse it, and he felt like it would be really hard to get somebody that is certified to be a technology teacher at a high school level and be able to do the network stuff. Like, they're two different
Two different
But
personalities.
right now, it's really hard having 50 children in a study hall for 80 minutes. And I feel like that's a problem when you want to put this full-time person in too. And I get he needs support, so like half and half. Like
So
he
how many
needs-
students do we have in the whole school system right now?
710, somewhere right around 710. I could look at
If it fits in the budget.
Okay, so I guess I would be wondering too, how many technology people are hired by other schools that are our size?
Rumford has one in each building and
They get 19
a
I
supervisor.
think you
So
actually
but they have
can't
one
do
in each
without
building.
them.
Yeah, they have more students also.
Well, I'm not
I
saying
have
you
a
can't
strange
do without
idea.
them, but I'm saying they have one in each building. But they have more than double the students we have, right?
It's 1900.
They also have more at the, like they have a Brian, who is also a Brian. And then they have a data person who also does all of the data, so that's not on the
So can
technology
things be
person.
delegated a little bit is what I'm
Yeah.
wondering.
One of them dates my daughter. One of the tech guys in Rumford. So I know a little bit about it. I've got a crazy idea that I bet maybe even the tech guys might like. We subscribe to a top of the line AI service, and we handle a lot of the record keeping and stuff with AI. Or of course it would take time to look into it, but I bet it's available. They got stores in California running on AI. I was reading about AI on thing you sent me today, about being certified.
I
Just
think.
a dumb idea, but could be right there.
I think we prioritize in the administrative, I prioritize, we lost grant money on 2 positions.
We did.
They are vital, they came there. We also know we need another teacher. I mean, Jason has done a little fiddling, got another teacher. We do know with our goals, we do need another teacher, and we do need to do something with technology, because the more the state and the feds demand, they want this information, that information, this is gonna be done, blah, 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 and they want it, you have to do it. And like Brad said, security and everything, it's become, and Brian does an excellent job, and so do the workers too, but that's on, and I'm hoping if they fix central programs a little bit, and that should take away some additional local, because they should cover things now. Maybe not, probably not, God forbid they actually cover what they're supposed to. Because I went through this, when they first started this, they didn't even give you enough money to cover it, all what they were supposed to cover. I don't know, do they still yet? Remember how EPS never was 100%?
It's 55%.
Yeah, but they never.
That's what it was supposed to be from the beginning, and it took them till a couple of years ago before they got
Yes.
to 55.
So I think we just need, and I think we do work well, and we know that's an issue. That I was hoping Pam could find a grant, but the way things are going, there's not gonna be. Maybe when that lady commissioner comes in September. But I know it's, and things will change, but I think we prioritize, we know it's there, we know it's needed. Because I was hoping we could get a new teacher this year for the high school. And then when we've seen the success of the SRO, and we've seen, I always forget. ELO. You know, we love our acronyms. But yes, every time it changes. So I think we can't afford it right now to do and I feel bad because they do such a good job. But I think we have, and I don't know when it was, but we cut a lot. And gradually we are rebuilding to what we cut, we decimated. Natalie remembers, Pam remembers.
It was our first budget year.
Yes, and we cut a lot. And at least we're starting to get back to some things. And I hope we can continue to do that. Any questions for Mary?
No, I would agree part with what you said, unfortunately, I would like
I-
to
you
look
know-
at it, but I just think the way things are right now, I'm hoping that with a 5 as our first number, we're able to get our budget passed. And that's my hope, is that we aren't having to come back.
And that would be.
Because I saw the reactions on social media when the Sun Journal posted the
I missed
article
it.
about the 6%.
My daughter saw it.
And I hope people understand just what costs are doing. I guess my one question is, what have we done with fuel in the budget? Like, how are we covering, or what? I know we had it locked in, and I'm concerned about making sure we have enough.
So high, but it didn't go.
Yeah.
What did we put in?
If we put in what Kenny had quoted to him before when he didn't lock it.
We have not locked in.
He hasn't
fuel yet.
locked in.
No.
And we are waiting right now, talking with Kenny, the last time I met with them, and now it's a waiting game. We were so close to locking in, and we had sources saying that he was just thinking it's gonna drop just a tiny bit more, and then this war started and it just took off, and now we're in a holding pattern, along with probably anybody else who pre-buys oil for the following year. We're probably gonna be in the category of budgeting for what we can, and with expectations, we're hoping that this event.
Completely understand, but as someone who has a business that involves using a lot of diesel and things this time of year, like we've all seen what stuff has done, I would be concerned, I guess, if we leave it at the quote that Kenny got pre-Iran war, because I don't think that it's just gonna pop back down, like, I guess, I don't know what the right answer is, but I think it'll be a miracle if it goes back to what he was quoted a few months ago this fall. I think it's gonna be expensive for a period of time. Hopefully not as expensive as it is right now, but I guess I don't know enough about our usage and stuff. 50 cents here or there is a huge thing, right? And we're not just talking 50 cents. So I don't know what the right number is, but I am a little bit concerned going into the budget if we leave it at what we were quoted before the war without a plan. Like, what happens if it doesn't go back, I guess.
If we lock in, whatever we lock in at, and the prices are lower, do we get the lower price? Whatever the market rate
You
is.
lock in and you're stuck with it, so that's,
There's ones you can do on stipulation. I think he does that.
We've never done that. Whatever we lock in at, that's what we get.
I think we ought to ask.
The only time that you can lock in and get lower prices, you have to pay a surcharge on top of it, and almost like an insurance you're buying to get a lower price. Whether they would do it for a school, I have no idea, but I know they do it for private people, because I looked at it.
I think we ought to ask.
we buy enough.
You know, because we've never asked before, it's a good time to ask, and worst thing can say is, we don't do that.
We
I
locked,
blame
we
them for
we
not
locked in
locking
during
it in.
COVID, and
I'm
then that next
concerned
fall.
about not
they wouldn't
adjusting
bring
the
us anything
number.
because it, like,
Um,
when we were doing corn,
I just.
they never even showed up. It was 2,000 gallons a
We
day.
used to,
It was-
we
it was
used
all
to buy together. I
Skid
don't
tank,
know.
the Big Apple, wiped out with them, Big Apple was working on front.
Sorry to bring it up, I just,
No, it's a discussion we need.
Why wouldn't we ask, like, at least the Western Maine schools to buy together? I mean, you're talking about some substantial buying power at that point. Has that ever been done?
It has been done. Kenny's done it for a number of people.
Is it something, I mean, it would seem there's in value with alliances like that to come in and say, well, you know, there's 20 schools here. We want a better deal.
The town does, right? The town.
So Kenny isn't here, but Kenny and I have had this conversation, and I hope I'm not talking out of turn, but I think I got this right. The problem that he's found is like when he's doing that and he's negotiating for everybody and he's ready to lock in, not everybody's ready to lock in at the same time. And he's stuck holding the ball and kind of waiting for the process to develop. So he's kind of refrained from doing that since those things were happening. Like, it just makes it complicated.
Is the nuisance of that worth maybe the better end result?
I would say that Kenny was getting us the best results we could have gotten the last 5 or 6 years. Like, he was skinning it down to the pennies, and I think he's done an outstanding job. And he said to me, he's like, I'm just gonna wait it out. Like, if I have to wait it out till fall, and like, we're gonna wait it out and see when it comes back down, like, do the best we can. And Mary can give you an update what we have in the budget currently, but
I think that's smart, because, I don't know, I think more immediately oil's gonna get in the sink. And who knows, I mean, sometimes it is what it is.
So what Kenny used for budget figures for number 2 heating oil was $2.81 a gallon for 49,000 gallons. And diesel, $2.96 per gallon
It's double
for
that.
38,000, sorry, 30,000 gallons.
It's crazy.
Volume price today, locking in, is 509. That's for not, I don't know, how many gallons we use a year?
That diesel.
30,000. For number 2.
30,000?
The diesel's 30,000.
Yeah, this would be non-taxable diesel, so, yeah, be the same heat and oil and.
so I mean, I guess my
That's
question is,
that
if we
price
don't
for
adjust
that.
this, then we
I
have
don't
to
know,
be
I could
prepared
just
to
buy
have
kerosene
$100,000
feel like I
extra
did 2 weeks ago.
for fuel.
so
Anyway.
So I don't
there'll be
know about
other
that.
things in the budget that will not happen.
Yeah.
If we cannot get this locked in at a reasonable price, like that's what we normally have to do, so.
Get rid of cookies before.
Did anybody
Come
listen,
on, oh, God, lots of
did
cookies.
anybody listen to the foreign minister of Iran, what his statement was 2 mornings ago?
No, I just
You
listened
guys
today.
get ready.
He said it will be over 5 and 6, but then the news said today that the barrel of oil went down and there was a reason of the saturation, that was the max. I don't know what they meant or talked about. So something's got to give. If they're blocking, they got to get their money.
Well, all these, I mean, what usually happens with that OPEC is there's like 13 of them, and 2 of them don't care about the price. Their storages are full, they let it go. So that's probably happening somewhere.
Anyway, sorry to take us on a little.
No, but it is.
That's very important. I think
That is
I think that's a great point
Realistic.
in the budget. That,
I
I mean,
don't
that's
want
a-
my oil person to come till.
that's a 42% increase at that price over 285.
Hey,
I think we wait out and then we make adjustments.
Yeah.
Alex,
Wait it out and have the bus driver start splitting firewood.
Okay, are we done the budget?
No.
Oh, we need a consensus, which we were presented to 5 point,
5.36,
and,
6.006.
and I think we got a, who wants 5.36? Yeah, you got your consensus.
Okay.
Thank you guys for working hard at that.
Yeah.
And I think,
Everyone has heard what Oxford Hills is doing.
What are they doing?
I didn't hear.
They're at 0.
How the heck are they doing that?
I heard they're cutting their
They're
middle,
cutting
they're
several staff, they're cutting all freshman
all
sports.
freshman sports, they're combining middle school
They're-
sports, they're not gonna provide transportation for a bunch of things anymore.
That's ridiculous.
That's your
Made
And,
headlines on the
and
news
they're
last night.
cutting
They were at
a
10.
lot of
They
staff.
were at 10% increase.
Something I can't
Well, I
remember.
think people need to realize here,
got
in
millions.
this district, if they don't like that that's what's gonna happen here. We're gonna go from 7 sports down to 4, like it was in the 60s.
And the reality is each sport, if you really looked at what it cost,
Cheap.
It's
Well,
cheap,
yeah.
like,
because
I
when
mean,
she
honestly, for what the kids get out of it.
but I mean, that's, you're starting there before you start classroom.
We could save on transportation if they stopped us going to Jackman, and not Jackman, but the Fort.
Well, if everybody
I
walked to
think
school
what's
within a mile.
frustrating is that people aren't getting paid more, but we're expecting to pay more out.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
All right, now that we've set our,
Okay, so it'll be on the 28th as actually an
Yes.
official vote, so that we
Yes.
can move forward and go on from there. So this next agenda item, literally somebody asked me, I mentioned the report card on the Department of Education site.
Yep.
So
I can't open it.
You need it.
I went to the thing on
Just
the
see her face
website,
when
and
you said
it
that.
was like, here you go, well, what do you pick?
can you open it?
I tried.
It's
I
just-
couldn't do it either.
I'll try right now.
Mine's not opening either, actually.
I
You
went
can
to
open
the.
I literally just clicked on the link so I could have it open on my.
You have to be
iPhone.
a principal.
Yes,
No,
yes,
you
you
don't. Open it up.
I don't know.
Well, you clicked on the website.
Sorry, Dan, what?
Yeah, it's right up there now.
It's up there, okay. So
It says-
I'm gonna
I
talk
thought you were
through,
talking about something different.
No,
I'm gonna talk
no.
through things if you could click for me, Dan,
Yes, ma'am.
okay?
Right
So,
No, on the report card, just
No,
report
report
card.
card for policy.
oh, no, I want the, main.gov.
showing
I
right
sent you a link.
I only
That's your
do
dash.
Number 3, I took number 3.
I went to the website, our
I
website.
sent the,
Clicked,
I sent the streaming link
Oh, I got it.
earlier.
I got it.
a streaming,
Yeah,
don't wanna know.
The school district.
Is it up?
I got it.
Okay, that's where we go. Okay, now where do you go from here?
You gotta put your district in.
You had to click 3 or 4 times.
Where?
It does not look like mine.
No,
See, that's what I said, Pam, that's
it
not
comes
the
up like
same
this,
thing.
and you have to put your
Alice isn't
district
Open
in.
the dashboard in a new tab, maybe.
You got a secret.
It's just really slow right now, coming up.
Computer's one just went. Oh, sorry, I kicked you.
Is there any way for me to walk up there and plug mine in? Or is it gonna take off your face?
We're just circulating good internet right now.
You can actually take over.
What's that?
You can take over that right there, that's fine.
But it ain't coming up.
No, because we don't have good internet right now.
I've got
All of it.
five
So
bars.
you can take over that, and Everybody's
What do you
face.
want?
I got all kinds of.
Oh, I can't see.
I feel
it.
better. This was gonna be short and sweet, I was just gonna show you how to get in.
Yeah, I tried to get in and I hit the
Well,
brick.
it's just circulating.
No, it is, it's not going to the right spot.
Oh, it isn't?
Thing. I saw a report
I
card
didn't see
from
that. I clicked on it.
the Rumfords.
Yeah, you have to
I
just.
clicked
Yeah,
on
And they
it.
don't even
District
have,
in.
I don't really
I
like
sent you this.
I went to
report, but
training
it gets to the-
No, I mean, I clicked on it.
or pass and semi-pass. I was like.
Do you know my
what's
daughter, my
Or what
granddaughter's in
age?
Massachusetts?
was that?
Ouch.
It was an elementary school kid, because I was helping her enter for academic awards.
I don't
on
think it's
a
working.
pageant.
I
And then it
can't
was
get
like
past that.
pass and,
See,
you know,
Yeah. Go to 5th grade and she
I
gets,
think
she
it's
gets
just like, I'm not
grades.
getting past
She's
it.
not
it
good.
was just some
So
letters.
that's the right side of
Not
it.
right.
But it's just circulating.
Okay, so let's table it, I will see if I can figure out.
Get there.
It, because I know it, I've been on it before, but it's just circulating. I think the website is broken.
Oh,
Probably
all right.
down.
Let's table it for tonight, I will try it again.
I will try again, well, next week.
Budget cuts at the state level, maybe. I don't know.
All right, tabled, the report card we couldn't open, see, that happens. Okay, I'm gonna let you take this over because we have to have a discussion about a motion to approve an exception to the nepotism policy, which we do have
Yep.
a nepotism policy.
Exactly. So we had a situation where we had a mechanic that left. We posted the position. We had actually, a pretty decent number of applicants come in. Kenny and I went through them all. We clearly looked at like the top 3 that we felt like qualified and should be interviewed. So they were interviewed. We had people on the committee. Bruce, you sat on that one, right? Okay. So we had a good committee with Kenny, with Bruce, with our head custodians, with our other mechanic, and we had a candidate that was clearly the #1 choice. And that candidate happens to be the son of one of our board members. So according to the nepotism policy, we need to come here to talk about like if we're willing to, according to the nepotism policy, you can make an exception and hire someone who is the son of a board member in order to be our next employee. And I would highly recommend that. I don't know if, should I put the name out at this point? Okay, so it's Colton Carlo, so Julie's son. And he came in and they were very impressed with his maturity level. Since he's left Jericho High School, he was a graduate here. And with what he's doing with his experience, they feel very confident that he can come in and fill that role as mechanic for us here. And you don't have to, I want to be clear about your motions. You did not have to make a motion to hire him. You need to make a motion to hire with the nepotism policy, because this is not a teaching position, so it's not somebody that you have to physically hire. You have to give approval to hire somebody with an exception.
My only pushback would be, if there was ever disciplinary issue with the board, mom just needs some keys.
Absolutely.
And beyond that, I would have 0 issue, because small community, you're gonna run into that.
And we already have that.
Yeah.
And Natalie, she excuses herself when we do any negotiation talk over Brian's issues, Brian's stuff, and so. Any other questions on it? Could I get a motion, please, to have an exemption to hire? An exemption to the policy, what you said.
So moved,
Yeah.
or yes, I
Yeah.
I'll second them.
Any comments or questions? All those in favor? You. Well, you know- She abstained with a conflict of interest.
So it was cute because he came in the other day to just do paperwork and stuff, and he's like, do I need to be worried? I'm like, I think 1 of 2 things will happen. I said, the board will make the exception or your mother will retire. He goes, I think you're right, and I'm like, but I think #1 will happen, so don't worry about it, we'll be okay.
I tried that and you guys didn't let me. No, my wife used to be a school bus note lady, but she
But the
couldn't get
thing is,
rehired. No,
I can't
somebody
have
moved down,
explosives.
somebody moved down from the position. I tried to quit, but no one would.
No. All right, there we go. Moving on.
That's what we need.
First reading of revisions to policy ADF, school district commitment to learning results. Could I get a motion, please? And a second?
Second.
And you can see the changes. Oh, you saw the changes. I didn't know
Could you
proficiency.
give a 5-second explanation of what the
Well,
range learning result is?
you do that.
I read that 3 times and I didn't Google it.
Do you know this policy
I read it.
is what saved us from, what was the thing we used to have in RSU 10? That,
I can't.
what was the
Just
name of
cause
it?
me
I'll
great
Google it. Never.
Master
Withdraw my question.
mass customized learning.
customized learning. So you follow the learning results, which has standards. And then they were kept changing it multiple times, so they took out proficiency. We still have proficiency in our graduation requirements. Well, it was a different policy. So that was the only major change. So this is what the learning results are the curriculum, the standards, which I don't know, that, I know we customized ours, didn't have 120 million standards. And geared for some standards. Did that help?
Yeah, I just read a pretty good explanation of it all.
Cause they left that alone, knock on wood, the last several years, cause when it first started. They couldn't make their minds up what they were doing.
They were
So-
last updated in 2011, so pretty old.
Yeah,
They're just like not going to touch them.
I got it.
don't.
I just didn't know what it was.
But we have ours all laid out. That's what we use for basing our standards off of.
so any other questions? All in favor? Thank you. Policy, first reading of policy AEC, accountability, reporting to the board and the public. Could I get a motion, please? And a second?
Second.
They changed the title, board wasn't there. Information needed, they got rid of the federal law, cause don't need law. I think that was the major changes MSMA did. Any questions? Seeing none, all those in favor? Thank you. First reading of policy EI insurance program risk management. Could I missed one, I did it again. First reading of policy BBAA, board member authority and responsibility. Could I get a motion, please? And a second?
Second.
They just rewrote what we had.
I was saying.
Before.
Well, I guess clarity. Any other questions on that? All those in favor? Now I go, this is a new policy. EI, insurance program risk management. Could I get a motion, please? And a second?
Second.
I know Pam and Mary went through this new one and said it wouldn't hurt. It was nothing that would be detrimental. It would help us because they have protocols and procedures for claims anyways. Any questions on this one? All those in favor? Thank you. Where am I? On the, number 9. First reading of policy EIR, E1, is that E1, EIR? Return to work and reasonable accommodation administrative procedure. Could I get a motion, please? And a second?
Second.
Mary and Pam really like this. The only thing that we kept in ours, we reserved the right to select the accommodation. Any questions on these? All those in favor? Boy, we went, yeah, I think they're bored.
Yeah.
First reading of revisions to policy GBGA, bloodborne pathogen policy. Could I get a motion, please?
So
And a second?
Second.
What they did is, we have the whole plan in our policy. And the little short policy we have now said there be a plan. And Aaron and Kathy went over, reviewed, said their policy is good. They've got to go to the safety. Someone to update and review the current plan for this, the blood pool. Any questions on this? All those in favor? Thank you. And we're deleting, to delete policy GBGAAE, hepatitis B, vaccination decline, say that word. Declination mandatory. Basically, it is the form. Could I get a motion, please?
So moved.
And a second?
Second.
And Aaron just thought we should just have it in the plan. The
Yeah.
only reason we put it is when we were new, we wanted to make sure we have some documentation that's, someone says, well, where's the thing to sign? And they don't sign them now.
Yes, I do.
Do they sign them? Do they do paper? Oh, good, because I didn't know if it was one of those digital.
Nope, they still sign paper with me.
Oh, good.
That's one of the ones I have to sign with me. But
Okay,
you're taking it away, so.
but it will be in the plan to still do it. So you still have
They
it.
still have the form, it just won't be its own policy.
Yeah. So you will have to still. All those in favor? And last, delete, GBGAAE1, the hepatitis B form is just, you're proving that you're trained. Do they have to sign that or do they do that on?
The training is online.
Okay, this was the this was the paper copy of training. Any questions on this one? All those in favor? Thank you.
What was the motion on that? I didn't get a motion. on that.
Moved. So moved. I don't even know if I did a motion.
I don't think so.
Oh, sorry.
You got one more.
Oh, yeah, JN. First reading of new policy JN, school and community service. Could I get a motion, please?
So moved.
And a second?
Second.
We've had a lot of discussion on what is the community service. We have that now, still have it in our graduation requirements. I know Kaylin is looking and trying to revise that. I went to the capstone this spring and they wanted to know, well, what do you do and what can you do? So if we have a basis here, then they can really work on that, get towards that. Any questions? Yep.
Do we have like a list of area places where you can recommend to try to go do your community service?
Good question.
Because like I talked to people, and I remember people doing community service, they were pulling up roll cover on a vegetable farm, which is real hard if you do it by hand. But that ain't really community service, you're just helping the guy out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There is an opportunity that I gave to Noah. That they're planning a trip, either it's the 18th, I think, the other Mount Blue. So whoever might need community service can get in on that.
Yeah, and they also, cause I know they do it by classes, they used to, and then Noah does. But every student needs to have community service. I know way back, some kids would do it through their church, they do it through Cub Scouts, the Girl Scouts. They would do it through any other activities. A lot of it was done in here. They would help in the lunchroom, they would help the AD, they would help at the office.
They coach youth wrestling.
Yeah, there's all kinds of things, and I think they wanna be have it so aware and get it finalized, cause right now, I think Kaylin's gonna work, it kinda. We used to do individual, then we did 1 day or 2 day, and then it's evolved into, I don't know what it is. So, good question, it is,
It's always,
yeah.
cause it was a struggle when I tried to.
Okay, all those in favor? Thank you. And that's the end of the policies. Board member comments. You wanna go, Natalie?
Okay, so I have two. First one, I had the opportunity yesterday to sit in on a fundraising meeting for the 2027 Europe trip. So just a plug to those that remember Ms. Beth came last spring, I guess. We had approved to allow a group to travel next spring in April. The trip's gonna go to Italy and to Greece. We've got about 30 people so far that have registered, which is really good. Last year they had 12. So we've got a really good group going. If we're able to get closer to 40, that pretty well guarantees that we won't have to pair up with another school, that we'll be able to have our own bus, which is kind of nice.
It is.
So there's spots available, and I just wanted to put a plug out if anybody's interested.
How much is that?
Reach out to Ms. Buck.
It's about,
That'd be quite an
The cost for students is around 4,500, and for adults, it's about 5,500. You can, whenever you register, you can then do monthly payments. So, like, I know my son and I, we registered last spring so that we would be able to get the full 24 month payment plan.
Question, so what company is this being?
EF Tours.
Okay, is this a company, because I work in New Hampshire too, and I had a friend whose daughter went through a program and they didn't get enough people and they ended up cutting it and they kept all those kids' money. So this is not the same company.
I don't believe so. This is the same group that we've used in the past.
Okay.
And had a good experience.
and they actually,
I'm like,
they were supposed to go to Austria, and I had actually signed up and paid, and they returned all the money.
okay.
They
So, yeah,
Okay.
we've got plenty of kids though, so that's good.
So
But
where's the
anyway,
information put out at?
Miss Buck had sent some stuff around. I don't know if there's still a flyer around, but I would say if you're interested, reach out to Rachel Buck.
I'll ask my son if he's interested.
There's like down payment.
You do $99 to get
I-
it, used to be
I
90
think
membership,
we
and then you.
paid 100 or a couple hundred up front.
Yeah, no,
And then, like I say, they split whatever your total amount due over the number of months between the time you register and the trip.
And when is the trip over the summer?
No, it's in April, so it's over April
April
vacation, it's actually a 10-day
okay.
trip, so I think we would leave like the Thursday or Friday
think
before
about
April
sports.
break, and then be gone all of April break.
Most times
Get
they
back.
don't.
But anyway, so it's a trip, flying into Rome, doing Rome down through, help, where's about Vesuvius was.
Oh, Pompeii.
Pompeii, thank you.
Oh, you're
And then-
taking the boat over?
And then
Oh,
taking a ferry over
I
to
did that.
Greece, and then going up and
It was
ending in
nice.
nice. So it should be a really great tour if you.
So can we just leave the kids at home and?
So it's actually a parent whose student is not going, and the parent is still going.
Wow.
Actually, the parent to student ratio is pretty even. There are a lot of adults going. So anyway, if anyone's interested, reach out to Ms. Buck. There are still slots available.
You said you're taking a boat from Pompeii.
I know.
It was no funny fun, and it was the most, that's what Friday I had.
Southeastern, they don't go out to ferry over.
Okay.
Okay. All right.
I mean, a lot of places in.
Sorry to get us totally off.
So you're doing a fundraiser.
So we are looking to do some fundraisers. So the kids, what we've paid or what we pay in covers most everything except for tips. And we pay for a bus, like a coach bus or maybe a school bus. I don't know what we pay for, but we pay for a bus to take us down to Boston, to the airport. So the group will be fundraising. They're looking to do a couple meals, and so you'll probably see some more stuff about that. But anyhow, if anyone's interested, reach out to Ms. Buck. The second thing that I did want to speak to a little bit was as a follow-up to what the Crosby family had raised. So they had reached out to me, as residents of Canton, asking, like, what is our policy as a district for recognizing outstanding athletic achievement? And so I did a little digging. I talked to Barb, I talked to Sarah, like I've talked to a few coaches. I tried to get some historical perspective on this. The reality is we don't really, not that we don't really, we don't have anything in writing. So we kind of have past practice of certain sports recognizing athletes that achieve certain milestones, whether it's a number of wins, a number of points, or record. Most of those are kind of program specific. They're not necessarily school specific. And I acknowledge and agree with their point that not all sports are represented right now in the way that we honor, athletes that hit certain milestones. I will also say, to be very fair and balanced, that if we, it probably shouldn't just be parents that are promoting and advocating for who should be recognized. I think that we should have some sort of a policy, I don't know if it's a written policy, but like a procedure on how we do this, so that it's fair, no matter who it is or what sport it is, like, how do we recognize outstanding athletes? So I guess my proposal would be that we look as a district to put together a committee, probably represented like with the AD. Members of the boosters, I would say, probably should be involved, a couple coaches, and brainstorm, how do we do this? One idea that someone mentioned that I think could be a good one is to start an athletic hall of fame. Mount Valley has one, Mount Blue has one. I don't know what their nomination procedures look like or what their criteria is, but I mean, something like that, I think could be fair game and could be of interest. So I would like to see us move the conversation forward. I wouldn't necessarily support the board, those of us sitting around the table, determining which athletes get recognized. I would say I'm not the one that should make that decision, right? But I recognize that we have students that excel in other sports besides those that maybe are hung with banners or jerseys. So, I guess for what it's worth, that's my contribution to the conversation. I'd like to see some action. Because as I've talked to a few other people, it seems like there has been some confusion about like who gets recognized and how, and, I think just to be fair, we should have a common practice and that's consistent across all of our sports, and so I'd like to see us do something for a committee to further the conversation.
And then would we need to be looking back, because I mean, there are other students.
Far as the Hall of Fame, but, cause like, when they started the 100th wrestling, there is kids I know, even, God, what's his name's, father would have been yeah, they all had 100 wins. But they didn't count them like they do now. They didn't used to count Charlie, the tournament, there was a discrepancy. But also, cause when I first got here, Gretchen's got retired, Curtis. Well, that tells you how, that was in 95, I think. Well, there was a big fight over dark or white, and then the other ones were way back. And then the AD, every time an AD coach, oh, this one got retired, I go, oh, who made that decision? And when Natalie called me, I said, the Boosters don't make that decision. We support as far as like, Mr. Crosby mentioned the track board. That used to be a one that you raced.
Well, do we have to retire numbers? I mean, that's.
That's what it was. See, cause like,
Well, and that's a good question. Like,
Yeah.
What should
should be,
What should be, and I mean, it used to be just scoring 1,000 points in basketball
And
to
it
get
did-
your jersey
no,
retired.
did not
That wasn't
get
an
your jersey.
automatic
That wasn't
correlation,
an
like,
automatic.
there are things that have evolved over time, and I think it would be good, cause I do think that there's some
They
historical.
should be recognized.
no,
Yeah.
and I know there's one that was supposed to be retired and voted on, whoever they did. And it was Ben Holmes for baseball, never got up there. And, you look in the thing, half the awards aren't updated. So there's a lot, but like Sarah didn't know, cause there's nothing documented,
Yeah.
because each AD or coach would do their own thing. And okay, we'll do this. And then I'm going, okay, yeah. Rachel,
So also onto that about, they mentioned something about a bulletin board in the weight room, but.
that was the coach just putting something with, achievement.
So I like when we walk the halls and see those kind of things, because I'll stop and I start
Yes.
learning and reading, so I would like to see that too.
And the problem we have here, which we knew we need to address, is there ain't a lot of room. But they need to do something with that,
Yeah.
because, it's a good thing. Yeah. Brad,
I have a couple comments. Firstly, my name should be on that track record. But years later, nobody's beat it. But somebody else.
So Brad needs to be on the committee, so that's part of this historical research.
I have lightheartedly mentioned it, but not really spent the energy into it. I still hold the shopping. So somebody wants to look into that, that'd be great. Somebody beat it, please. Somebody beat it. So a couple things. I want to mention, I've got, at my business right now, we have an ELO student, and can I mention his name? Is that a problem?
I probably wouldn't.
Yeah.
No.
It's,
He's a good kid. So I've spent a little time, working with Noah Preble on ELO and talking to him, and we were fortunate enough to get a student that wanted to be a business major. And they're gonna go to Hudson and do their business major there. I endorse the program, it's really great. And I think more kids need to get into it, and we need to help find more businesses who are willing to get involved and dig deep and try to find opportunities for these kids. If you want them to stay home or stay close, please stay in Maine. And I would urge any business people that are listening, that there is a lot of help to make sure that you can figure out how to use the intern, how to deal with liability issues. There's a program that actually is paying this student per hour through Manpower. I don't know that that exists in the future, maybe it does, but that's pretty great. And the student right now in our business gets to participate in real life decisions. He's actually given feedback that have caused a number of actual meaningful changes, right down to a brand new logo for our company. He's also developing a mobile app for us using AI. And he's doing it while he's at work, and he's comes in at 7:30, and he's doing it on the weekends. He's doing it at night. And it's been nice to see, so I wanted to put it in place for that.
It's getting the businesses is hard, the way I got the businesses, God rest his soul, with Johnny. We knew everybody in it, and but to know the people, and there's a lot
I
of.
think a lot of us know people and could.
We do.
Because but they also, in talking to Noah, he's, they want to get, one of the biggest problems we have right now across the country is we don't have young people going into the trades. Where they can get rich. I mean, absolutely crazy rich, going into electricians, plumbers, construction. They realize how much money they can make, especially in business for themselves. But we all know people, and maybe we could recommend, if you do know some business owners or some leaders at businesses. So anyway, good luck for that. Secondly, I wasn't here for the last budget meeting. It's the most consequential one. There's going to be a point where what the community is asking for, which is better results. And we're going to pony up the money. And I'm not advocating for giant increases. We've got massive inflation for all the reasons. We have inflation, we've got war, and we have all this stuff. But nonetheless, we're asking, parents complaining, well, we don't get good results. And parents don't respect education, and kids don't respect education. And we need to be willing, when we're looking at this budget, which I think will pass. But we need to be looking, how do we educate these kids more, and being on the curriculum committee, and us talking about how we can keep kids from, essentially getting all their credits by some point in their junior year. And then what? They're gonna sit in study hall? There are not enough electives, and I realize we're not gonna go out and hire 10 teachers to do electives, but we've got to find a way to get creative with how we're gonna offer these kids. Well, first of all, our system says they're gonna be in high school for 4 years, and generally they're gonna graduate at the end of 4 years. What do you do with these kids when they're listless and sitting in study hall? So my hope is that, first of all, that the community passes the budget. And secondly, that they remember that you can complain all you want about how you don't think the education's good, which I would argue absolutely not the case. That's not true. It's a great education, we get a great district. But you gotta be willing to spend the money. And these increases may seem huge. This is the nature of things. We've only had a 0% budget increase one time, I think, in the entire school poor district that was during COVID. Scary time, a lot of people without jobs. I don't see that happening again, unless you want to do, I guess, like Oxford Hill did, and cut everything. And there's a point where if you don't think parents and kids don't respect education now, wait till it truly is terrible. And then what you're gonna have is you're gonna have AI teachers and kids staying home. And I don't think that's what we want in the community study.
The other side of that, though, is that we don't have a high profit making community. And so we can't tax these people that are on fixed incomes out of their homes to cover what we'd really like to provide for the kids. I'm not saying that I wouldn't love to do that. But I also know we're a one income family anymore, and I can't work any more than I'm already working. I'm
right there with you.
tapped out. Like, I don't know what else I could possibly do besides take my family and leave the state, because the taxes are going up so much that I cannot,
I think our problem is in Augusta, and Augusta's tripled money in the last 8 years.
I can't,
That needs to change.
Well, there's some states that it's higher, cause I know Massachusetts and I know.
Well, not
other
many.
people.
Top five across America.
Yeah, not many. So,
That's my point.
but it's
All right.
killer.
Bruce?
I just had one other thing that I meant to mention when I did my report
Yeah.
for Region 9. Jeff Rainey, which is our outdoor skills and recreation. He informed us that there was an essay out there, essay contest for a 10-day trip to Alaska, paid for by sponsors. 10 kids were chosen in the country. 3 kids were chosen from Region 9.
And one of them was here today at that
One of them in the
podium.
girls.
Going to black hair.
Phoenix.
Phoenix was here.
Phoenix was the last.
She also was supposed to read a letter that she had written that was gonna be read during the, hold on, let me see where it is here. She was going to be reading it at
Augusta.
at the Hall of Flags, but it happened to be a snowstorm, so it got canceled, so she never got to do it in Augusta, so she read it to the Region 9 Board of Directors.
That's cool.
That is awesome.
3 people out of the 10 that are chosen, and it's a 10-day, completely all expense paid.
That's
for it.
wonderful. See, please, we see that in the Sun Journal, which I don't buy anymore, so.
Yeah, I got a comment, a real quick one. It's a good one.
Okay, ready for a good one.
You know those plaques in the hallway? Well, one of them ran out of room, so they popped the 2 numbers off the bottom and put the next class on, because one was driving. The other one was my daughter. That's great, because I tease her every time we come in. Where's yours?
And that is my goal. Does that even have Mr. Chamberlain? He says.
But I mean, imagine taking the 2 of them off and putting 2 new ones.
Oh, God forbid. Any more board member comments? All right, you're up.
So I just wanted to, first off, I'm gonna just say, Sarah knows it's an issue and she
Yeah,
knows it's
I
in
know.
summer work this year. That there's a lot of plaques out there and awards that are not.
I made a quick outline if you want to hear it. Hall of Fame and retired number qualifications. There's 4 categories. Academic effort and proper citizenship as a student. Academic accomplishments in high school, outstanding records, coaches and AD recommendation, participation in college and or pro sports.
I heard Carl volunteer for the committee.
Yeah.
Says that's my mom.
That you.
I don't know, that's like what other places weigh a lot on what you did when you get out of here as far as.
Well, I was
Like,
thinking
but
that.
if you go to Madison, the only one up there is Bobby Wild. He started for Old Dominion quarterback right out of Madison, Maine.
It could be nice, but.
Are you ready for me to exact?
Yeah, ready, good. You did that quick.
That's why probably Tom Knight would definitely, I would say,
All night.
got
Exactly.
significant playing time at Notre Dame. And had all kinds of records.
And he was goofy.
Here's another thing on the baseball. What happens to baseball and softball? The All-Star game is like the middle of July. The season finishes after school. The paper
You're done.
comes out and everything, because I had a kid in that too, and you know what I mean? So if you look, there's really no.
Yeah.
Hockey, Rachel went in August.
Everything's done.
Have some rules.
Yeah,
Good
but I mean,
baseball
everything's
players.
done, so it doesn't get a lot of.
And we
I'm hoping we have a football player going to college.
Okay, Pam, you're on.
You're on. Okay. So Noah Preble organized a freshman trip to the University of Maine at Orono. I was asked to join the tour as an administrator because we felt it might be beneficial to have an administrator attend. So we went today, and I have to say, the students were incredibly well behaved. Mrs. Thompson called me at 2:30. We were in Skowhegan at that point coming back. She's like, "How was the day?" And I'm like, "Actually, it was really, really good." And it was good for our kids to see, like, they look a big campus, you know what I mean? Like, they see smaller campuses, but to go up and see Orno was pretty amazing. It was a huge success. The conversations, like, the kids were great. They were talking about aspirations and what they wanted to do after high school. And interestingly, I did not know this was here, but we saw the largest 3D printer in the world. And they actually print out boats and houses.
Okay.
Like,
I've
it's
seen it up
pretty,
here.
like, it's, I don't know. They can do that, but it was really, really good. And I just want to give a shout out to the freshman class. Sometimes they don't get a lot of shout outs, like, collectively.
Are
but
they our,
were-
one of our cohorts?
They
Yeah.
historically been a little more challenging than some of the cohorts, but there was not,
That's a nice.
there was not an issue. Good, on the bus, at Orono, during lunch, they were respectful, they listened to everybody that when they were in talking with us. It was really, really heartwarming for me to be there and see that.
How many won?
So 42 of them went.
Nice.
Oh, that's pretty good.
Yeah, yeah, and like I said, I'm tired. They were good. One of them even asked me, like, "Are you okay because you're limping all the time?"
Oh, walking the kids.
So I just also want to say that we have Darragor's Got Talent here tomorrow evening, if you can't tell
What
what this
time?
is going on, I believe it's 6 o'clock.
I think that's what the stuff.
And then they had Arts Alive at the elementary school tonight, and the second round is Thursday night, 5 to 6:30. So if you want to pick up either one of those, that would be great. I have some new hires. Oh, wait, Colton Carlo is our mechanic. We have some stipend positions that were filled. The middle school varsity baseball is Michael Leclerc. Middle school JV baseball is Kyle Mealy. Middle school varsity softball, Matt Libby. Middle school JV softball, Stephanie LaPointe. And middle school assistant track and field coach is Sylvia Ludick. And then we did receive one resignation, Henry Hilton, the middle school phys ed health teacher. He is going to resign at the end of this contract year. He lives on the other side of Farmington, and wouldn't you know, they had a position in Farmington, so he's gonna reduce his travel. So he will be with us. That's all I have for tonight.
Oh, that's quick and to the point. Committee reports, policy, we don't have a date. Unless something major, we've gone through and I've gone through, I don't think we have. Finance committee?
We pretty much covered it today, and on April 16th, we have a meeting at the central office at 5:30.
Yep. Thursday night. I'm gone.
That's 2 days from now.
Curriculum? Nothing. Buildings and grounds?
Nothing,
Negotiations?
none.
Nothing. Personnel?
Nothing.
Nothing. Ad hoc? I don't know the date, Jason will get a hold of us. Dropout prevention committee? April 27th? At 3 o'clock. Technology? Nothing. No executive session, can I? And a second, all those in favor, good night.